Did you know the star of Rawhide, Eric Fleming, wasn't even supposed to live past the age of 10? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But it's true. And not only did he survive what no kid ever should have had to go through, he actually went on to become the face of one of the most iconic Western shows in TV history. And hey, if you've ever felt like life just keeps throwing punches, like you're carrying too much, or trying to stay strong when everything feels like it's falling apart, you're not alone. That feeling? That fight? Eric Fleming lived it, every single day. See, this isn't just another Hollywood story. It's not just about some old TV show or a cowboy hat. It's about a man who went through absolute hell as a kid, fought his way through it, and somehow, managed to carve out a legacy that people still remember today. And trust me, once you hear his story, you won't look at Rawhide the same way again. So let's talk about him. Let's remember Eric Fleming. And let's talk about how he became Rawhide's Gil Favor, and how his real life was maybe even tougher than the Wild West world he acted in. Alright, let's start at the beginning. Eric Fleming was born in 1925 in Santa Paula, California. Now, from the outside, that probably sounds like a pretty normal time and place to grow up, right? But his childhood? It was anything but normal. Or safe. Or loving. By the time he was just 8 years old, Eric was living through something no child should ever experience. His father was violently abusive. And I don't mean just a few harsh words or strict discipline, this was next-level cruelty. His dad beat him so badly, so often, that Eric actually tried to end his own life at just 8 years old. 8. Can you imagine a child being in that much pain that young? It's heartbreaking. But instead of giving up, he ran. He escaped. He left home and took to the streets. Hitchhiked. Slept in shelters. Did odd jobs. Somehow, some way, he survived. That toughness he later showed on screen? It was real. It came from somewhere. Eventually, he joined the Navy. He served during World War II. But even that chapter didn't go smoothly. During a mission, something went horribly wrong, he had a serious accident, and part of his face was crushed. Yeah. Crushed. He had to go through multiple surgeries. His jaw, his speech, everything had to be rebuilt. And here's the strange twist, his acting career? It actually started as part of his recovery. He took speech therapy classes and acting lessons, not because he wanted to be famous, but just to heal. To talk again. Imagine that. The guy who'd become a tough, confident cowboy on TV, originally couldn't even speak clearly. Now fast forward a few years. Fleming starts getting acting roles. Nothing big at first. A few background parts, some supporting characters. But slowly, people started noticing something in him. That quiet strength. That edge. That realness. And then came Rawhide. If you grew up on classic TV, or even if your parents did, then you probably know Rawhide was a big deal in the late 50s and early 60s. And while Clint Eastwood's name became huge later on, during those early years, Eric Fleming's character, Gil Favor, was the star of the show. Gil Favor was the trail boss. The leader. The steady hand on the cattle drive. He was serious. He was fair. He was tough when he needed to be. And fans loved him for that. But here's what made it all work, Fleming wasn't just acting like a trail boss. He was that guy. His real life had made him that way. He had already fought battles much harder than any scripted storyline. So when you watched him give orders, or stand his ground, or stare down trouble, you believed it. And that's what made him unforgettable. But while the show was a success, things behind the scenes weren't always smooth. Fleming clashed with producers. He didn't always agree with the way things were run. He had high standards, and he wasn't afraid to speak up. And sometimes, in Hollywood, that kind of honesty doesn't go over well. Eventually, those tensions boiled over. And just like that, he was written off the show. Yeah, after carrying the series for years, he was let go. Replaced. And for a while, things got quiet. He took on other projects. Tried to keep moving forward. Tried to find his next big break. In 1966, he flew down to Peru to work on a new adventure film. It was a change of pace. A chance to do something fresh. Something exciting. But then, tragedy struck. While filming a river scene, Eric was on a raft. The current was stronger than expected. The raft flipped. And he drowned. Just like that. Gone. He was only 41 years old. A man who had made it through childhood abuse, war, surgery, rejection, gone in a single moment. No warning. No goodbye. And honestly, it still hits hard, doesn't it? He had survived so much. Fought so hard. Just to be taken by something so sudden. But here's the thing, he may be gone, but he's not forgotten. Fans still remember him. Still talk about Gil Favor. Still admire that strength, that presence, that quiet courage he brought to every scene. And if you look a little deeper, you start to see just how much Eric Fleming taught us. He showed us that you don't have to come from a perfect background to make something of your life. That your past doesn't define your future. That pain can be turned into power. Here are a few things about him that most people don't know, but they really show just how unique he was. For one, he never saw himself as a star. He struggled with confidence, with self-image. He had a speech issue. His face had been rebuilt. And yet, he still showed up. He still performed. And people connected with him because he was real. Also, did you know he mentored Clint Eastwood? It's true. In those early Rawhide days, Eastwood was still figuring it out. And Fleming helped guide him, taught him things, pushed him, challenged him. Even if they didn't always get along, the respect was there. And that matters. Another thing? He didn't care about Hollywood games. He didn't chase roles that didn't feel right. He wanted to play characters that stood for something. That had depth. That felt true. And that's rare. Even now. Plus, and this might surprise you, Eric actually talked about emotional pain long before mental health was a public topic. He didn't pretend to be perfect. He knew what trauma felt like. And while he didn't always say it directly, you could tell he carried that weight with him. But instead of letting it break him, he used it. It gave his performances that edge, that authenticity, you just don't see every day. So yeah, he didn't live long. But the impact he left? Still going strong. His story reminds us that everyone you see on screen has a story behind the scenes. That strength often comes from struggle. And that sometimes, the people who seem the toughest, are the ones who had to fight the hardest just to stand up. So now I want to ask you something. What part of Eric Fleming's story hit you the most? Was it what he went through as a child? The way he fought through everything? Or that unexpected, tragic ending? Let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. And hey, if you love stories like this, stories that dive deep into the real lives behind Hollywood's biggest names, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more coming. So many untold stories. So many legends who deserve to be remembered. And if you're a Clint Eastwood fan, you're definitely gonna want to check out the next video. We'll be talking all about how Rawhide shaped his career, and the one person who almost took his place. Seriously, it's a good one. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, behind every tough character is a real human being, with a story that matters. Talk to you in the next one.